Hi, it's me, Jazzy. I'm back with another tech-related video, and today it's AliExpress Tech Time. Yep, I've picked up a whole bunch of stuff from AliExpress that I deem to be useful. This is not a sponsored video, it's just me going on AliExpress buying a bunch of stuff that looks interesting or could be handy. So let me find where I've put those grey bags and get them over on the bench. Okay. Now I've already opened this parcel because I didn't know what was in it. I didn't realise it was AliExpress stuff. So, anything else? That's it. Right, okay. There's my one single banana plug to go with the black one that I ordered last time. And I think hopefully there's some more in this package as well. This was the quick release, like a Wago style of thing. You just pop a wire in there and clip it down. We looked at them last time. I was suitably impressed with it, so I thought I'd get myself another one. And I think hopefully there's some more in this package as well. Oh, and we've got another multimeter to look at. Here we go. Aha, we'll take a look at that in a sec. Here's the rest of my banana plugs. I was quite pleased with that first one that I got. I did actually read the listing this time. Last time I ordered it, I was in the hurry and I didn't actually read the listing properly, so I ended up with just one. That was my fault, by the way, just to clarify. Nothing wrong with the listing, I just didn't read it properly. Now, I know what we've got in here because it says high voltage oscilloscope probe, 100:1. Fantastic. Really useful thing to have. Sometimes you need to measure voltages on your scope that are higher than what you would like. This looks all right, actually. This wasn't a lot of money. Obviously, we'll give it a test, see what it can do. Oh, this is the P4100, which is 100 megahertz, 100:1. So it's the mid-range one. So, yeah, looks okay. So it's just one fixed range, got no switch on here or anything. Got your little probe compensation screw in there. And I think it does come, yeah, it does come with the tool and some coloured bands and an earth clip. And so the user manual for this. Okay, probe compensation, yep, usual stuff. Accessories and features, yep, ground lead, we've got retractable hook tip, yep. Here's the specification if you're interested in getting one of these probes. I mean, it was quite cheap, but if it's any good, I don't know. One thing I do want to check though is insulation tests, because it's a cheapy probe that's 100:1, so you're likely to use it on like mains or quite high voltage. So according to the spec, this probe is good for 2 kilovolts. Using this Gold Star scope just for testing this probe. I don't want to put it straight into my main scope. So as always, I'm testing these things so you don't have to. Okay, so I've got the probe hooked up, ready to put some power through it. But I must say, for safety's sake, obviously anything you do at high voltage, just be super, super careful. So what you do is completely at your own risk. Power on. Focus is not great. It's not the best scope. It needs a bit of servicing. But this is one I use. It's actually referred to as the burner scope because it's just an old spare one that I use when I'm doing anything questionable. Sine wave's going up. It's 100 volts, 122. Let's bring that down. A lot of the flickering is caused by the camera. Unfortunately, it's trouble with analog scopes. 220, 230 pretty much there. We could go more. I mean, mains is generally what you'd be putting in. I can go up to 300 on this. 300 volts going in, 1 volt per division, 1, 2, 3, times 100, 300. Does what it's supposed to. Let's turn that off. Good test. Okay, so the probe seemed to do its job. It didn't get hot or anything during that test. As you saw, we had 300 volts going through it. That's about the most I can safely put out at the moment because I need to do some work with my AC calibrator. But yeah, you saw that, 300 volts going through it. It was fine. This does have a CE mark on it. Whether that's genuine or not, we don't know. So yeah, I mean, it was cheap And if you're worried about putting voltage into your scope at lower voltages, I'd say it's probably absolutely fine. I don't think I'd trust it at 2 kilovolts. As always, common sense is highly important. Anything involving high voltage, you need to be super, super careful. Right, we've got one more here. So let's see what we've got in here. Right, so we've got bags within bags here. So, what do we got in this one? Ooh, okay, another kit. Hooray! Ooh. We had great fun, didn't we, with the kits recently from AliExpress. This one was really, really cheap. I think it was about £3. I can't remember what I paid now for this. It's a DC regulated power supply. 0 to 30 volts, 1 milliamp to 3 amp, DC regulated power supply. Some nice big capacitor there, look at that. 300 microfarad, 50 volt. Got all sorts of interesting things and a hole in the bag. Oh. A loose resistor in the bottom of the bag. Uh-oh. Nothing in the other bag, no. Well, let's hope there's no other components missing. So I'm guessing that's come out of there. It does look like one of these little rascals has escaped. Yeah, we've got a hole in the packet there, look. Well, let's just pop that one back in there. And let's hope there's no other bits missing. Although I have got quite a good stock now of spare bits from kits. So this is another one to put into stock that we can build. And looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Great. Now what is this? An electronic module. It always says that. Oh, it's another kit. FM radio. Okay. With digital tube display. Oh, yes. Yes. Now, see, I get way too excited when I remember what I've ordered. This is really cool. I know we've done an FM radio kit before, but this one's different because there's no case, as it were. It's a sandwich of PCBs that make the shape of the radio. So we've got a 7-segment display in there. We've got a little aerial. Some nice big resistors that I might be able to see the colour bands on. Love that. And we've got instructions and all sorts of bits and bobs, capacitors, all just floating around loose in the bag. This looks like it's going to be a fun kit. And from what I remember, these PCBs were really nice. That does look cool. This is what attracted me to it. It looks so different because this is the front of the radio. So the 7-segment display fits in this gap here. And then you've got another panel for the back there. And then this, I believe, just sits in between like that. It's going to be really cool. This is going to be great fun. All right, so a couple more kit builds to look forward to then. And what's this? This is an iron tip tester. Yes, it is. I saw another YouTuber using one of these in a review of a soldering iron, and I thought, what a handy thing. I must get one, so I did. So this is for testing the temperature of soldering iron tips. We've got some instructions and a battery, a Paco super heavy duty battery. Right, this looks cool and potentially very useful for testing soldering irons, of which I have many. Okay, they haven't put the logo on straight, but we're not going to worry about that. It's a KD RST thermometer 191. Hopefully the instructions will throw some light on this device. No, it's all in Chinese, but not a problem. I'm sure I can find something online. It's not going to be that tricky to work out. So on a quick Google, it looks like this is a clone of a Hako model, which has the same number, 191. Tells me I should get approximately 50 measurements out of each sensor before it needs replacing. And it looks like I've got a few spares in here. Yeah, I have. Oh, this is going to last me a while then, isn't it? So we got, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I get 50 goes out of each, that's 250 times I can measure my soldering iron tip approximately before I need to buy some more of these little sensors. Okay, let's put the battery in. I have sometimes tested soldering irons with a thermocouple, but it's nice to have a handy little device that makes things a bit more consistent. I like consistency in testing. It's part of the fun. Let's put the battery in. A little bit too much wire on that battery, but never mind. All right, let's get this back on. Oh, that's much better. Okay, there's that peel on there. Yep, let's get rid of that. Lovely. Let's put the sensor on. So red to red, blue to blue. Press this down, hook that on. That's it, we're there. Huh, there we go. It's a bit like a flux capacitor. Now, the main important thing I need to do is I need to put these somewhere I'm not going to lose them. I'll put them in the drawer with all my important bits. Right, let's switch on. It says once it reaches the ambient temperature, it's ready to use, which I think that's probably about right. 22.4. I'm going to test this with my Kaiwits and see what temperature I get. Alright, now I'm at 340 degrees, so let's see what we get. Well, 310 is still going. I think that's about as far as it's going though. 311. Okay, interesting. I'm not going to take that as gospel yet. I'm going to do some comparisons with this, between this and several soldering irons that I've got here and some thermocouples. I'll do a bit of comparison and see if this is actually accurate or not. Let's try the T12. Right, again this is set to 340. Ah, see, this is going up. It's not going up to 340, but it's going closer than the other one. 332 that topped out at. So pretty close to the 340 that it's set at. Both those soldering irons were achieving over 300, but the Kaiwits was reading a little low, but then that could be down to this box. Interesting. I like the idea of it though. Going to do a bit of my favourite thing, test and comparison. I'll keep you updated on this one and let you know what I reckon on it. First impressions, not bad. Quite cheap, about £9. All right, could be useful. Okay, now, as you've probably noticed, this is a high-end touch smart multimeter. Now, this is a little bit more than I normally pay for cheap multimeters, so this will go in our mid-range category. This was about £25. Prices go up and down on AliExpress. As always, let's have a look. It's an Aneng, it's a touch screen, and it comes with a nice little case. What do we get in our nice little case? Actually loads by the look of it. So we've got some probes, which look actually reasonable. Okay, all right. We've got a temperature probe there. We've got a charge cable, USB-C to A, and a multimeter. Well, this looks cool, doesn't it? An Aneng 683 Smart Multimeter. I saw this on AliExpress and it was actually reduced. It's sealed for freshness as well. It was actually reduced, so I thought I'll pick it up because there's a couple of mid-range Anengs that I've been interested in looking at. This one, because it's a touch screen, really interested me. And there's an Aneng 623, which is like a clamshell one somebody asked me about, so I'll try and pick one of those up. Clearly our USB is under there. Okay, out the way. Does it have a stand? No. It's an unusual shaped case, isn't it? So no stand. Looks like it's got, maybe it's a case that they use for multiple things. Looks like something else could have happened there maybe. So we've got our sockets on the bottom, which are labelled on the front there. So we've got our usual volts, etc. there, COM port and current there. Non-contact voltage and a torch. nice. And we've got a instruction book. We've got an English one and a Chinese one. All right, and let's have a look at the spec. As usual, I'll let you pause that if you want to have a closer look at the specs for this meter rather than listen to me listing them all. You can see all of that. Great. And there's your specs for temperature and frequency for this meter. All right, so let's dig in. Feels quite nice. Oh, nice display. Auto mode. Slightly matte screen, which I like. I like the slightly matte screen. Makes life a lot easier when you're filming. Sometimes things are so reflective, it's actually hard to show them on camera. Touch there to select capacitance there. Temperature. Non-contact voltage. And live line. And back to the home menu. Okay, that's nice and easy then. Hold for torch. Okay. All right, reasonable torch. I would make one observation though, that when you hold the button down for the torch, can you see the screen, the way the screen reacts there? It does say torch when it's on, but yeah, you can see how that's where I've been holding that down. It's affected the screen. How that would affect it in the longer term, I don't know. So from the auto screen, you can manually select diode mode, continuity, frequency, DC volts, AC volts, and back to auto. Does that mean I've got to suffer the continuity beep? Is there anything, do these do anything? No. So the only touch area is here really then. Yeah, so if you go into continuity mode, you've got the resistance mode as well. By the look of it, I don't think there's a separate resistance mode. That's a little bit disappointing on a meter of this price. Okay, so you don't seem to be able to manually select current or resistance, but you have got a hold. Tap the torch button for hold. Now, I was hoping that I was going to be impressed with this meter because I've seen this one around on AliExpress for a little while, and I thought I must pick one of these up just for testing purposes, just so we can see, is it any good? Is it one I can recommend? The probes are actually quite nice. They've got a kind of goldy tinge in this light. All right, so from auto, it does go into continuity, but not very fast. All right, so if I manually select continuity then, give it half a chance. Very quick, yeah. They don't seem to suffer the coating problem that some of the cheaper probes have. These are actually all right. What does it say? It just says 1000 volts max, 20 amp. Hasn't got a name or anything on it, but they actually seem a cut above some of the cheap ones we've had. And that's quite quick. Continuous, yeah. Okay, I'm impressed by that. That's excellent. Let's try diode mode, shall we? There we go. Right, let's see what we've got. So, this is our forward voltage. Is okay, it's pretty much what I'd expect. All right, now what I like to do is to see what it's putting out in terms of voltage in diode mode. We've got actually 3.23 volts, better than a lot of the cheaper ones, and similar to what I would get from the Zoe. So if I put the Zoe in diode mode, 3.24, not bad. One thing that does score extra points for me is having the hard case. I like a place where I can put all the bits for the multimeter together in one place while I'm doing my tests and stuff, and then once I'm done, I know where I've got all that stuff rather than having it all over my bench, which is generally where it ends up. Okay, so we're going to have a go with DC volts with the PDV S2 Mini. Okay, DC volts. Here we go. So 1 volt. Okay, pretty good. 2 volts. It's fairly quick. 3, 4, 5, 6, ever so slightly over. 7, shifted range. 8, little under, 9, 10. Not bad, quite fast. Let's go down to 100 millivolts. Oh yeah, no problem. It's actually quite responsive. 10 millivolts. Yeah. 1 millivolt. Yeah. Not bad though, fairly quick on DC volts. Okay, so AC volts then. I've brought in the Alien Tech just for a quick comparison because we know it's fairly accurate, this one. Okay, so at 1 volt, pretty good. Okay, and let's go to 10 volts. Okay, 10 volts. Not bad, is it? That's not bad. Right, let's go up. It's keeping up pretty well. 100 volts. Yeah, fine. 200 volts. Yeah, fine. No problem. Okay. It's pretty quick, isn't it? Okay, so I want to do a current test. So there doesn't seem to be any way of selecting current. So I'm presuming when I plug in, it's gone to DC current. How do I now select? So where's AC amps then? Will it switch automatically? Well, let's find out, shall we? There's only one way to find out. Learn by doing. All right, so let's hook that one up. I've got the Alien Tech on AC amps. Let's see if this one switches over when I put out some current. Let's start off pretty low. Let's go 1 milliamp. It's not switched over. Well, this is a bit of a fail, isn't it? What if I put it in auto and it's doing nothing? Oh, here we go. No, it's not switching. It's not switching to AC current. There's no way of selecting AC current. Let's give it a bit more. Ah, now it's picked it up. See, it wouldn't pick it up at a low reading. That's interesting, isn't it? AC amps. So it seems anything roughly below 10 milliamps, it doesn't want to know. All right, this is often the problem. The smart multimeters are sometimes too smart, but now it's going. Well, let's go up to 100 milliamps. All right, yeah, now it's going. It's all right. Let's wind it up then. Yeah, it's keeping up all right. It's just getting it to trigger. It won't trigger at a really low reading. 1 amp, yeah, fine. Okay, yeah. So on DC current, obviously no problems selecting DC current because it comes up on DC current straight away. 10 microamps, it's not loving it. 100 microamps, nothing. It's not enough to trigger it, is it? 1 milliamp, kind of just-ish. It's trying. Doesn't like really low readings, does it? 10 milliamps? Yeah. All right. Kinda. 100 milliamps. Yep. Okay. Fine with that. 1 amp DC. Yeah, fine. Okay, successful test. So it's okay once you get it rolling, but as is often the case with the lower end of smart multimeters, it's difficult to trigger it. If you're going to be using this and not going down to microvolts, microamps, then you're going to be absolutely fine. And as we saw, it's reasonably fast and responsive and reasonably accurate within its spec. But anything that is smart ranging, smart function is sometimes difficult to get it to where you want it to be. It's probably all reflected in the spec of the meter, but I think in terms of usability, yeah, it could trip you up on that. So far, not bad. let me quickly grab my resistance box. What I'd like to see, as well as how accurate this is on resistance, is at what point does it trigger the continuity beep? Where does this stop? Is it going to be around 50 ohms as normal? Oh, here we go. So it's picked it up on auto. We've got to suffer the beep. $10, $20, $30, $40. Yeah, 50 ohms. That's a shame. That's disappointing. I like a meter to have a dedicated resistance range rather than lumping it in with continuity, because you've got to suffer the continuity beep all the time you're measuring anything under 50 ohms. Okay, stop. My goodness me, that's going right through my ears. You couldn't use that to measure anything under 50 ohms. That beep is really loud and piercing. What a shame, because in terms of speed and accuracy, it's pretty good. But you've got to say that's not bad. Again, we're going to suffer that. 100 ohms, fine. 500 ohms. See, it's fairly quick, and it's actually a little more off the higher up we go, isn't it? Up the resistance range. It's not bad on resistance, but that, no. That would drive me up the wall. What a shame they didn't just put a dedicated resistance range on it. Let's try some frequency quick. Okay, so normally these kind of meters are pretty good on frequency, so let's have a go. I'm going to start off on 50 hertz. Let's have a go. All right, not bad. 10 hertz. Yep, pretty quick. 9.998. Let's try at 1 hertz. Ooh, no, not happy. Okay, that's a shame. I've had cheaper meters than this that have gone to 1 hertz. Will it do 2? Let's try 2 hertz. Nope. 5. No. 6. Okay, 6 hertz. That's about as low as you can reliably go then. 6 hertz. Just. All right, 100. Yep, straight away. 400. Yep, let's go. 1K. Yep. Really quick. No complaints here. 10K. Fine. 100K. Not a problem. We'll do 1 meg. Yeah, fine. We can go 2. Ooh. No, it won't have it. So we're saying 1 meg's probably about as far as you're going then. Yeah, 1 meg's probably about top. Okay, interesting. Not as good as I expected it to be on frequency. All right, so let's check some capacitance then. I've got the Muirhead B21F decade box here. Let's go into capacitance mode. Okay, now we've got a residual of 160 picofarads on this box. So let's see if we can pick that up. And we can at 148 picofarads. So, okay, excellent. Let's pick that up. All right, so at 1 nanofarad, we got 1.159. And remember that 148 picofarads of that is the residual of this box. So that is pretty good. Let's go to 5 nanofarads. Okay, not bad at all. Pretty quick. 10 nanofarads. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right, so 50 nanofarads. Yep, straight away. It's not hanging about, is it? 100 nanofarads. Yep, absolutely fine. Do you know, it's not bad. It's quite responsive. So 500 nanofarads. Reasonable. Not the best I've seen, but not horrible. And at 1 microfarad. Yeah, 1 point. Yeah, that's actually not bad. Okay. All right, I'll give you that. All right, so while we're looking at capacitance then, let's try the 10,000 microfarad test. This does catch out quite a few smart multimeters sometimes. Let's have a look. It's going to take a minute. Not bad. All right. 9.583 millifarads. That's all right, and it didn't take forever either. It's quite a big cap to charge up. Okay, capacitance, not bad. So the Aneng 683 then, well, for £25, it's not bad. It's okay. Nice rubberized case, like the matte screen. Interface could do with a little bit of work. The fact that it doesn't have a dedicated resistance range, that's a bit of a deal breaker for me, having to suffer the continuity beep when you're measuring anything under 50 ohms, not being able to switch manually between AC and DC current, that's a little bit of an issue. These are all things that might be able to be sorted with the firmware update. It's reasonably accurate across the board and reasonably fast. If they could just sort out these little foibles, which seem to haunt a lot of these cheaper end smart multimeters, then it would actually be quite a good choice. Actually be nice to see color-coded terminals though on the bottom there. Just a little point, and a nice little stand would have been nice. But yeah, not bad. So what did I get then from this episode of AliExpress Tech Time? Well, a few useful bits and bobs as ever. We got the Aneng 683 Smart Multimeter, which is kind of okay. The 100:1 probe, that seemed to be fine, no problems with that. And this really useful soldering iron tester. So I'll do a bit more testing and checking with this and let you know how I get on with it. Obviously the banana plugs, they're very useful. Already started using those, very handy. And we've got another couple of nice little kits to put together here. The DC power supply and the FM radio. So look forward to building those. So there you go, another useful range of gadgets from AliExpress. Well, there you go, quite an interesting selection there. Bit of a shame about the Aneng Smart Multimeter. I had high hopes for this one. I mean, it was fine. It was accurate and fast across most of the ranges. There's just a few little quirks with it, like not being able to switch between AC and DC current and not having a separate continuity and resistance range. So I have to suffer the continuity beep trying to measure anything less than 50 ohms. Bit of a shame. I'm sure that could be improved. So the quest is still on to find a really good smart auto-ranging, auto-function multimeter. Is there one out there? I haven't found one yet, not at the lower price ranges anyway. Soldering iron tester looks really useful on the face of it, but how accurate this one is, I don't know. I'll do a little bit of testing with it and I'll keep you updated on it. And the 100:1 probe, well, yeah, quite useful. Seems to do what it should. Whether you'd want to trust an unbranded probe with high voltage, well, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Plus, we've got a couple of other cool little kits to build, so keep an eye out for those. There'll be a couple more kit builds in the pipeline. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and as always, massive thanks to everyone for watching, sharing, liking and subscribing, and big thanks to all my YouTube and Patreon members. Don't forget you can support me on Patreon and buy me a coffee, which helps to support the channel and keeps me making more videos. I'll be back soon with another tech related video, but in the meantime, take care and I'll see you on the next one.